Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy Edit. Today's video, I'm bringing you guys Week 3 wide receiver rankings for fantasy football in 2020. We are going to go through all of wide receivers 1 all the way through 32 and give you guys my opinion on why I have each player ranked why I do inside of my 2020 Week 3 wide receiver rankings. I'm going to break down why I like some guys and why I obviously don't like some guys because they are ranked much low. Some guys, obviously, you're going to have questions about are not ranked, so if you have a question, leave it down below. I will try and get to every single question that I can. So Week 3 wide receiver rankings for fantasy football in 2020. Before we get into it, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. Overlay DFS has introduced a new fantasy football game for the 2020 fantasy football season. It is called the Matchup Shop. It is the player versus player game that includes real-life aspects of betting with the spread. So pretty much it's fantasy points of a player versus fantasy points of another player, just with the addition of the spread. So in this scenario right here, we have Matt Ryan versus Mitch Trubisky. If you bet Mitch Trubisky, you get an additional 8.5 fantasy points, whereas if you bet Matt Ryan, you lose negative 8.5 fantasy points for that game. Who wins head-to-head with the spread is going to be the winner. It is very simple. Anyone can figure it out. Even I can win on there. So thank you guys all for listening to this spiel real quick. Make sure you guys check it out because you guys do all that research and you want to win some money with it. Make sure you check out OverlayDFS.com. Link down below in the description. And we are back. Please make sure to check out OverlayDFS.com, link down below in the description. Please make sure to check that out, as well as that at any point in this video you guys end up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We begin here, wide receivers 1 all the way through 12. DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver 1 on the week versus Detroit. Now, he could be dethroned as the number 1 guy if Davante Adams plays. Now, Davante Adams is ranked as wide receiver 2 if he plays. Okay? Understand that. If he plays. Right now, I'm recording this on Friday. I have no idea if Davante Adams is going to play. I really don't. I think he will. I hope he does. But if he doesn't play, obviously not going to be the number 2 guy. DeAndre Hopkins goes up against the Detroit Lions. He's my number 1 guy. The Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray are feeding this guy the rock any given chance they get. Literally, Kyler Murray drops out of the pocket. He fucking runs all the way to the right, runs all the way to the left, and does it so much just so that DeAndre Hopkins can get open. And even if DeAndre Hopkins isn't open, the man just fires the cannon straight his way. DeAndre Hopkins is a must start every single week, may end up as the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football come by the end of the year. The guy is just a beast who gets so many targets that it's impossible, to me at least, when Michael Thomas is not healthy, to have anyone but DeAndre Hopkins or Adams at 1 or 2. Davante Adams, like I said, coming in here at number 2. We have no idea his eligibility for week number 3. It just seems kind of unclear if Adams will play or not. Now, the reports were after week 2, oh, it's fine, right? He's going to be fine. He's good. And then slowly it was, oh, the hamstring, this, that, the other thing are all kind of acting up on him. We don't know if he's going to play. So we really have no idea about Davante Adams. So if he plays, he is going to be a start for me, unless it seems like they're going to use him as a decoy because he's like fucking limping out there. Number 3, we have Calvin Ridley going up against these Chicago Bears. Now, Calvin Ridley is dealing with the fact that Julio Jones may or may not play on Sunday. He is a game time decision. Before the game, they're going to tell us if Julio Jones is going to play or not. So make sure that you guys are staying tuned for that, checking Roto-World, checking everything to make sure that you know or not if Julio Jones is going to play. But to me, it doesn't really affect Calvin Ridley. It would make Calvin Ridley slightly better, I guess, if Julio Jones doesn't play. But at the end of the day, I feel like them being on the field together just scares the fuck out of defenses. So it may even be better if Julio Jones was out there. Ridley has been the best fantasy football wide receiver this season. The guy's just absolutely tearing it up because the Atlanta Falcons throw the ball so fucking much. They want to throw the ball first down, second down, third down, fourth down. If there was a fifth down, they throw the ball on that down because they're throwing it at an ungodly rate. And Calvin Ridley is just eating like his name was Ezekiel Elliott. So I love Calvin Ridley this week, even up against a tougher Chicago Bears defense. At number 4, we have Tyreek the Freak Hill going up against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday night in Baltimore. Obviously not the greatest matchup for Tyreek Hill because, hey, he's playing up against a tougher Baltimore Ravens defense, but no one can keep up with the speed that Tyreek Hill has. All it takes is one play for Tyreek Hill to become a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy football on a given week. He burns a guy, goes for like 60 yards, tutty, boom. He's one of the top wide receivers on the week. The guy is just a complete and utter freak, and up against the Baltimore Ravens, even up against a better defense, I am not all that concerned. for this matchup. At number 5, we have AR-15, Allen Robinson, going up against the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. I talked about how Calvin Ridley is going to be a beast because they're going to throw the ball so much. The reason why they throw so much is typically because they're down in these games. This is going to be a back and forth affair, a sort of tug of war of a match, kind of, in my opinion. Allen Robinson going to be involved in this game. I understand he kind of shit the bed last week. Now, there is concerns, obviously, that maybe he's not playing as well because of the fact that he hasn't gotten his contract, right? He wants the big money. They're not paying him, so he doesn't give a fuck. But I think that's kind of false because he's caught in 100% of the balls thrown his way from Trubisky that were accurate. That's the problem because Mitch Trubisky is so fucking inaccurate. Now, he's playing up against the Atlanta Falcons defense. The defense is so shit that Allen Robinson is going to have to be able to overcome that. And it's not even Allen Robinson overcoming it. It's kissing titties Mitchell Trubisky being able to throw the ball somewhere near the guy because you just have to throw it in this big range that he has and he will catch the ball. So Allen Robinson, I like him this week up against the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously a riskier type of play due to how we've seen him perform recently, but I think he ends up having a big game here on Sunday. At number 6, we have Juju Smith-Schuster, choo-choo, going up against the Houston Texans. This is a good matchup for Juju Smith-Schuster. We kind of saw him get sucked back last week because he didn't score 2 fucking touchdowns like he did in week number 1 up against the Houston Texans. I expect this one to be a high-scoring affair in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh defense is pretty good. Deshaun Watson, obviously pretty good, though, so he'll be able to kind of crawl them back into this game. I think Juju Smith-Schuster plays great. It seems like, though, Deontay Johnson is Ben Roethlisberger's favorite target. He seems to be seeing the more targets on a weekly basis, but that doesn't mean Juju Smith-Schuster is some type of fucking bum or something and won't be able to finish inside the top 10 on the week. At number 7, we have Adam Thielen going up against the Tennessee Titans in Minnesota. Now, I expect the Vikings to lose this game. Now, I would not be surprised if Kirk Cousins came out on fire. He wins this game and goes, "You like that?" and starts screaming because everyone is pissing straight on this guy's grave. They are taking a good old tinkle, like that picture of that little kid pissing on like the logo of a team they hate. Like it'll be wearing like a Dolphin shirt and he's pissing on the Jets thing. Something like that. That's what they're doing on Kirk Cousins' name because he has not been playing good at all. I think Adam Thielen is still fine though because when they throw the ball, it goes to one guy and one guy only, and that's Adam fucking Thielen. So I like Adam Thielen this week up against the Tennessee Titans. At number 8, we have Mike Evans playing up against the Denver Broncos in Mile High Stadium. Now, Mike Evans here this week. Chris Godwin is going to be active. Now, I have Chris Godwin placed a little bit later in the rankings. Not that I think it is necessarily a bad matchup, but he is coming off the concussion protocol. Obviously, one more week of connection with Mike Evans and Tom Brady. I'm just not sure that means that Godwin's going to finish as a top 12 wide receiver on the week. Doesn't mean I think he's going to be shit, though. Mike Evans, though, I like this week up against the Denver Broncos, even up against a tougher defense. I just feel like the guy's almost a lock on a weekly basis to pretty much score a touchdown. They don't seem to be throwing to Gronk at all in the red zone. Bruce Arians even came up and said that he's just going to be a blocking tight end for the team. That's what they view him as, which is beautiful to my ears for Mike Evans. I love Mike Evans this week up against the Denver Broncos in Denver. At number 9, we have DJ Moore going up against the LA Chargers. Now, obviously a tougher type of matchup for DJ Moore and the Carolina Panthers, but now losing CMC, I feel like DJ Moore is going to be more involved. Now, the coaches over there saying Curtis Samuel is going to be more involved. Robbie Anderson's been eating. Maybe, just maybe, this offense is going to be very productive due to the amount that Teddy Roosevelt, aka Teddy Bridgewater, is going to be throwing in this game. I feel like you can't count DJ Moore out because the guy's just so open on so many plays, regardless of who he is being covered by. The guy's a very good wide receiver, very talented at it, and I just feel like he is going to have a good game here, even up against a tougher defense, but understand this is a tougher matchup. At number 10, we have Scary Terry F1 McLaurin, scoring McLaurin, going up against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Now, the Washington football team looked very good week 1, looked pretty good week 2, obviously coming into the game 1-1 here, going up against the Cleveland Browns, who are also 1-1. Terry McLaurin scored a monster touchdown last week that really helped elevate Terry McLaurin's point total. He's a guy that I figured in the offseason would be in the end zone frequently. Now, it didn't end up happening week 1, but week 2 he did, and I feel like Terry McLaurin is going to be very good here up against the Cleveland Browns. Sure, they have a very solid front 7 that will be able to pressure Dwayne Haskins, but at the end of the day, Terry McLaurin should be able to play quite good up against the cornerback crew that they have in Cleveland, and I'm feeling another good game out of Scary Terry McLaurin. At number 11 here, we have Julio. Oh, nope, not Julio. He's next. We have Tyler Lockett going up against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I love Tyler Lockett on this week. I also like DK Metcalf, but but the Dallas Cowboys versus the Seattle Seahawks is going to be a barn burner. This is going to be a very high-scoring game. Now, in the past, you might be thinking, Nick, this is fucking crazy. The Seattle Seahawks are going to run the ball a million times. It's going to be a close game, but it's not going to be super high-scoring. That is no longer what the Seattle Seahawks like to do. Pete Carroll's on the train of the hashtag Let's Russ Cook campaign. Russell Wilson has been heaving the pigskin on a weekly basis, and I think up against the Dallas Cowboys, this is going to be a very high-scoring affair where Tyler Lockett plays very well. It's almost as high-scoring of an affair as when someone who's super rich gets divorced and then their wife gets a shit ton of money because they cheated on him with an affair. Get it? A high-scoring affair. That was fucking hilarious. Not really. Tyler Lockett, though, it does have a great matchup this week. I expect a big week out of him. Same thing goes with Metcalf. At 12, we have Julio Jones going up against the Chicago Bears. Now, Julio obviously going to be a game-time decision on Sunday like I talked about earlier. So make sure if you have Julio Jones, you have these other options floating around in your membrane of who you're going to want to start. Maybe make sure you have that backup plan. I believe Julio Jones is playing in the earlier games on Sunday, so it shouldn't be too hard to figure out like who you want to switch it in and out because you have pretty much your whole roster unless they ended up playing on Thursday. So Julio Jones going to be a great matchup here this week. He's matchup proof. The Chicago Bears, the fucking great. He could go up against Deion Sanders, and I'm sure he would still play pretty well. So I like Julio Jones this week as wide receiver number 12, given he plays. Now on to wide receivers 13 through 24. So again, if you guys have ended up enjoying this video, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below because not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys dominate your 2020 fantasy football league. At number 13, we have Chris Godwin going up against the Denver Broncos. Now it seemed like he is Tom Brady's favorite target. Well, he was week 1. And then obviously week 2, he didn't play. So how does that affect Tom Brady's reasoning in throwing him the ball? Because Tom Brady is one of the weirdest motherfuckers. Like, if he doesn't feel like he has that connection with you, if he doesn't feel like he can lock lips with you like he did with his son in that video, then he just doesn't throw you the ball. I think he still has that trust in Chris Godwin. I'm just not too sure how good Chris Godwin plays in his first game back. Now, I understand that it was a concussion, but that could make a player kind of be more hesitant to make some type of catches, make some type of moves on their first game back because they don't want to get knocked straight on their ass. At number 14, we have DK Metcalf going up against the Dallas Cowboys. I talked about it with Lockett. This is a grade A matchup for both of these lads, and I think that DK Metcalf also puts up a big game. This guy's a fucking monster. This guy looks like he would flick you, and you would fly across the room and go straight through the wall like it's in a fucking Marvel movie. I think DK Metcalf is going to go absolutely beast mode here on the Dallas Cowboys. At number 15, we have Cooper Kupp going up against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Now, this is a very tough matchup for Cooper Kupp as well as for Robert Woods. Now, Cooper Kupp is not going to have to face the hardest corner on the Buffalo Bills, which could be very good for Cooper Kupp. That's why I have him ranked ahead of Robert Woods. Typically, I'm all aboard the Robert Woods train. Choo-choo! But this week, I'm going to kind of slow my roll and place him slightly further back than Cooper Kupp due to the fact that Cooper Kupp's not going to have to face as hard of a corner. Jared Goff has been looking good. This Rams offense has been flowing like I don't even know. They've just been flowing down the road, gently down the goddamn stream, and I think that Cooper Kupp is going to be able to have a solid game here at Buffalo. At 16, we have Amari Cooper going up against the Seattle Seahawks. I talked about how high-scoring this game is. Amari Cooper's only ranked so low because this motherfucker does his best disappearing act after he plays well. Sometimes he plays like 3 good games, then he's shit for like 4, then he plays good again, then he's bad. He's just very, like, hot and cold. He's like that icy hot that Shaq advertises during a basketball game. So I'm not too sure how I feel about Amari Cooper. I mean, this is a grade A matchup, a fuego matchup. But is he able to perform? Does he kind of flutter? Does he get flustered? Does he not play too well? Does he shit the bed like Odell likes on his chest? I have no idea. This is an amazing matchup, so I'm telling you to start him. Just understand the risk in Amari Cooper. That's why I kind of bake him in here at number 16. At number 17, we have Bobby Trees going up against the Buffalo Bills. Again, Robert Woods going to have to face the best corner on the Buffalo Bills. His name is escaping me, but that guy's a fucking beast. He will lock you up and throw away the goddamn key, but I think Robert Woods is good enough to be able to kind of evade that. Kind of like Jordan Belfort evaded the fucking police for that whole time. But Robert Woods is going to be playing quite well here in this game. So I think Bobby Trees has a good game, but not like the greatest game due to the fact that they're playing up against a tougher defense. At 18, we have Keenan Allen going up against the Carolina Panthers. Now, this is a soft serve ice cream matchup for Keenan Allen. He should be able to have a very good game. Now, it is going to be Justin Herbert. If it was Tyrod Taylor, I'd probably shit my pants still because Tyrod Taylor just doesn't air the ball out as much as Justin Herbert does. Justin Herbert looked excellent week 2 up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, understand that the Carolina Panthers are going to understand that they are playing against Justin Herbert. The Chiefs had no fucking clue Justin Herbert was going to start until about 20 minutes before the game when we all learned that Justin Herbert was starting. I didn't even know Justin Herbert was starting until I saw him on my television. So, very good for Keenan Allen, though. I think he should be able to have a good game here with Justin Herbert. At number 19, we have Deontay Johnson going up against the Houston Texans. Now, Deontay Johnson and Big Ben have that beautiful connection. They're staring into each other's eyes. It's like Romeo and Juliet-esque on the field. It's beautiful. Deontay Johnson has been balling out 2 weeks in a row, and I see no reason to think that he would have a bad game here up against the Houston Texans. I got him at wide receiver 19. At number 20, we have Hollywood Brown going up against the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night. This is going to be vital for how you feel about Hollywood Brown. Amazing week 1, not so hot week 2. Will he be able to have a bounce back performance here? I think so. I think the Kansas City Chiefs do have a good defense, but a lot of good defense just can't handle the speed. Speed kills. That's at least what cops tell you when you're speeding too much, so you got to make sure you don't do that, guys. Keep kids alive, drive 25. Hollywood Brown going to have a great matchup here, though, up against the Chiefs because the guy's just fast as fuck. I understand it's a tougher defense, but I feel like Marquise Brown will be able to get it down here. Definitely a riskier kind of piece, but a super high upside piece for the week. At 21, we have Julian Edelman going up against the Las Vegas Raiders in New England in Gillette Stadium. Julian Edelman is just an every week kind of locked in start. He's a guy that's going to get you 10 plus PPR points every single week, strictly because of how Bill Belichick just devises this offense. It's to make sure that we get the ball in Julian Edelman's hand, and Cam Newton can definitely do that. He was doing it very well last week up against the Seattle Seahawks in a higher scoring affair, which could be possible this weekend against the Las Vegas Raiders. At 22, we have Stephon Diggs, who is going to be getting the Jalen Ramsey treatment up against the LA Rams. Definitely pushing him down here on my kind of rankings board due to the fact that he does have that tougher matchup. Stephon Diggs has proved 2 weeks in a row now that he is the real fucking deal. He is the head honcho there, the wide receiver 1, the alpha guy in Buffalo, and that Josh Allen can actually throw the ball to him. Now, I've been a Josh Allen fan coming out the womb, but a lot of people have been disrespecting him, or they did disrespect him. Now, he's looking good, but he does have his toughest matchup yet up against the LA Rams. Will Stephon Diggs be okay? Yes. Does he have that top 12 potential? In my opinion, no, because I think that Jalen Ramsey is going to try to cut him out of this game. Cut it out. Like, what's that guy's name? God damn it, I forgot it from Full House. At number 23, we have Michael Gallup going up against the Seattle Seahawks. And I bet you this motherfucker's going to be galloping on the horse straight into the end zone because this matchup is beautiful. It is fuego. We saw last week up against the Atlanta Falcons, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper do their best Floyd Mayweather impression. They hit him with the 1-2 Mayweather. They hit him with the Jorge Masvidal KO straight to the fucking dome 4 seconds into the UFC fight. That's what they did to the Atlanta Falcons. Even though it wasn't really a KO, it was more of a, oh shit, we're running the retreat, and then turn around and just fire down and murder everyone. That's pretty much what they did to the Atlanta Falcons. I love Gallup in this matchup. This is going to be a high-scoring affair, like I stated earlier, and I think Michael Gallup is going to be balling out of control. At 24, we see Tyler, Boyd, going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Darius Slay is on the Philadelphia Eagles, but understand he is going to be shadowing A.J. Green, which is going to be perfect because A.J. Green could be shadowed by a fucking ghost that would be chasing around Sam Darnold, and he still would only catch 3 balls a game because that guy is washed up. Washed up is what A.J. Green is. He doesn't do anything. He's pretty much just a decoy out there. Joe Burrow probably hates himself every time he throws him the ball because the guy's like wide open half the time. He throws it to A.J. Green, hits A.J. Green in the hands. He can't catch it. He just doesn't look like the same A.J. Green. Still a great NFL wide receiver. One of the best I've seen in my lifetime. Being alive, obviously. I'm not that old. I'm only 21 years old. So growing up, A.J. Green has been one of those better wide receivers, but now it just seems like his time has passed, and it seems like it's going to be Tyler Boyd season here up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now onto wide receivers 25 through 32. So again, I urge you, if you have enjoyed this video thus far, to please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We begin here with wide receiver 25, Kenny Golladay going up against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. Now this may be the first game we see Kenny Golladay come back this NFL season. We've missed him week 1 and week 2, and I expect a triumphant return. I expect the cannons to be firing over there in Arizona for Kenny Golladay. I expected Kenny Golladay to be a top 10 wide receiver on the year. Now that may not be able to happen due to the fact that he missed the first 2 games, but I expect on a points per game basis him to ball the fuck out up against the Arizona Cardinals if he plays. He's a locked and loaded guy into my lineup with top 12 potential. Got him ranked at 25 though because I'm still unsure if he plays or not. At 26, we have his teammate, Marvin Jones. Starvin Marvin Jones going up against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. Obviously, Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones are the perfect yin and yang to this offense. The fact that Kenny Golladay hasn't been here is kind of why Marvin Jones hasn't been playing well. On a points-per-game basis, Marvin Jones averages more points with Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay averages more points when Marvin Jones is on the field. It's because when you have two wide receivers that are that good to cover, it's much harder. It just is. The versus when you have one and you can just lock one of them down. So I think both of these guys have big weeks if they both play. If only Marvin Jones plays, I am kind of tempering my expectations on him again. Even though he's not playing, this would be the matchup where he does good because the Arizona Cardinals defense is not too hot. At 27, we have Odell Beckham Jr. with a shitty ranking of wide receiver 27 up against the Washington football team. Now, Odell Beckham Jr. last week balls out, right? He dumpsters the Bengals defense, but the Bengals defense could not pressure Baker Mayfield. They gave him no pressure at all, whereas the Washington football team is going to be able to pressure Baker Mayfield. Now, I understand that the corners aren't amazing there, but if Chase Young and friends are going to be able to break through that line and kind of get a little sexual with Baker Mayfield in the backfield, it may not bode too well for Odell Beckham Jr. in this game. Still think you can start him. Just understand there's definitely that risk because he always does really good in prime time and doesn't do too good any other time. At number 28, we have T.Y. Hilton going up against the New York Football Jets. Now, this is the best matchup the guys had all year. This matchup screams T.Y. Hilton should be able to skull fuck the New York Football Jets defense, but that's not what's going to happen, okay? T.Y. Hilton, just like A.J. Green, the guys with the 2 letters for first names, kind of just washed these older guys. T.Y. Hilton just hasn't been very good. Phillip Rivers throwing the ball somewhat near him. The guy just hasn't been coming down with it. This is a game that the Indianapolis Colts can honestly just run the ball 7,000 times and win the game. So I think that's what they do with the best offensive line for rushing in the league, with one of the best running backs in the league, in my opinion, with Jonathan Taylor. I don't think they have to throw the ball too much, so I don't like Hilton on this week. At number 29, we have JB, and we're not talking about Justin Bieber. We're talking about John Brown going up against the LA Rams. Great matchup for him because he doesn't have to be covered by Jalen Ramsey. This is a great matchup for him because Stephon Diggs is going to be potentially locked up and not be getting the ball as much. John Brown's been balling out even if Stephon Diggs is out there playing well. So it seems like John Brown is the key complementary piece to Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen spreads the ball around. You get the ball. You get the ball. You all get the fucking ball. He's like Oprah Winfrey out there, and John Brown's going to have a great game here up against the Rams. At 30, we have CD's nuts. CD Lamb going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, not all 3 of these guys are likely to hit on every given week. But the upside of a potential pounding by all 3 of these Dallas wide receivers has CeeDee Lamb ranked inside of the top 30. He had an excellent week last week, and I think he can build upon that in week number 3. At number 31, we have Goose Egg Willie Fuller going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Garbage matchup for Fuller. He played bad last week with the Goose Egg. I think he bounces back, though. Just understand that he's very risky because he's going to either have a good game or a completely awful game. So that's kind of my opinion on Will Fuller. And at 32, Mr. Irrelevant, A.J. Green. I talked about it. This guy's useless. I don't even want to talk about him because I fucking hate the guy. I told everyone not to draft him, and you drafted him. There's questions about him all the time. Just do not play him up against the Eagles, especially when he's going to get covered by Darius goddamn Slay. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If you ended up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Check out my friends and my sponsor again over at overlaydfs.com. I love each and every single one of you motherfuckers, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with some more bangers of videos. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Goodbye!